There are Puritans in the West offended by any ounce of skin fictional female characters show, and instead of moving along with their lives and letting people enjoy what they want, these people complain about every single thing they can, and an ad for Azure Lane was recently released, and it has blown up because of the snowflakes, and these softies are getting absolutely obliterated. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media so you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and live streams I create, consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or supporter via YouTube memberships. So as you can see, this was a tweet made by the Azure Lane official account, and it says, "You'll show me how to do it, right? Thank you, Commander. Content is in development and may not reflect the final version." So they are showing off a skin for an already existing character, and as you can see, she's definitely big and bright and colorful, and this has caused a little bit of outrage on social media. As you can see, this post has over 30 million views in only a couple of days, because you now have a group of people who are offended by it, saying, "Why do you need to put this content in your game? It's disgusting." And then people who have absolutely obliterated the snowflake, saying, "I can enjoy this if I want to." Now, I'm not going to show the whole video, but it's very easy to see why some people are a little bit offended. Okay, she has a lot of spillage going on. It's a very boobalicious skin. I personally think that they did this just to get as many views and as many clicks as possible. And hey, it is a marketing strategy that works. Absolutely no shame to the developers of this. They are creating content that people very clearly want, and there is a lot of positivity on this. People saying things like, "Over my size preference, but I gotta respect the sheer hustle. Keep it up." And it's true. I mean, they clearly did this because they knew that they have a game that, does focus a bit on fan service. I mean, Azure Lane is a battleship girl game that they very, very clearly know the type of people who are playing it. And there's people saying things like, "Don't cry over spilled milk," because there's plenty more of this to go around, and "Booba, god damn, this is crazy." But then you get into the comments of people saying things like, "This is a bit excessive." That's fine if you don't like it, but nobody is forcing you to play this game, and these developers clearly know their audience. And I'm glad that they're not running away from this situation, right? That I'm glad that they didn't delete this post to put out an apology, because that's unfortunately what a lot of companies would do, especially companies that are getting 30 million views on a post and there are some negative comments on it. We see that happen time and time again, and I'm glad that they, didn't bend over backwards and bend the knee to apologize to these people. There's also some quote tweets that say things like, "Man, even if I'm bi, this is such a turnoff. Like everything, her body and expressions and movements is so awkward and uncomfortable." Well, even if you're bi, luckily for you, this is not a real person. This is not someone that you are judging in order to see if you want to have some kind of relationship with. It's a fictional character who happens to look the way that the developers wanted her to look. And if you're so offended, all you have to do, guess what, is click a little X button that says close tab, and you can move on with your life. You can ignore this. I think that this post is honestly a little bit hilarious, saying things like it's such a turnoff, and her body and her expressions and her movements. It's a 55-second advertisement for this new skin, and I've got to be honest, even though they're very clearly promoting it with her two best assets, I bet that in the game she's not actually going to have this much spillage. It's maybe a little bit dramatized for the advertisement. I mean, who knows? We won't know until she's actually in the game. But yeah, there is that. You've also got people saying things like, "Bro, what the fuck is going on with games?" Again, I completely understand if you do not like the way that this character looks, or like the way that any character in this game looks, but these people act like this is some new concept, that breasts on a fictional female character are some kind of new concept. But all of these posts have something in common, and that is the fact that these people are getting destroyed over their hot takes because they're sitting here trying to attack the developers, saying that this is weird as hell and what the hell is going on with games. People are saying things like market research. They know what they're doing. Yeah, they clearly know their audience. They clearly understand what they're doing and what is going to get them the clicks and what is going to ultimately get them the views and the downloads. They are making games good finally. Oh, they got me now. I mean, Azure Lane is very popular. I personally have not played Azure Lane, but I know I am definitely going to be purchasing and I am going to be supporting after this, even if it's only to check it out, because this does look pretty interesting. I mean, it looks right up my alley, and while I don't typically play like mobile or gacha games, I did a little bit of research into Azure Lane, and it's not actually pay to win. I mean, it does have gacha elements, don't get me wrong. I mean, you can swipe your credit card as much as you could possibly want in the mobile game, but it's not like such a super pay to win experience. I personally find it so funny that these people act so offended, like, weird as hell, y'all like this shit? What does it matter if somebody else likes this? If they like the character design or they like the game that happens to have characters that look like this, it's really not that big of a deal. If you don't, again, that's perfectly fine, but all you have to do is ignore posts and tweet about it and just don't download the game. It's really just that plain and simple. You've also got a small group of people saying that, oh, this is offensive because it's objectifying women, but I personally do not agree with that at all whatsoever. As a woman, I am perfectly fine with seeing fictional female characters with exaggerated proportions, because again, that's what they are, fictional female characters. I love seeing characters in skimpy clothing. I'm fine with seeing them with exaggerated proportions. It's really not that big of a deal, but of course there are individuals online who are always looking for something to be offended by. But yeah, I had put up this post saying the haters who are seething over her spillage is amazing. Acting triggered because this is objectifying women is just an excuse to be triggered, because you can't handle attractive fictional females. And of course, a lot of you guys agreed with it, but I think that this situation is absolutely hilarious. These developers clearly knew what their player base wanted, the type of designs that people will buy and ultimately will support, and this is getting them a ton of views, a ton of likes, and just a ton of support. And I, of course, follow the Azure Lane official account, and I'm very excited to see what other types of designs they release for their characters in the future. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.